for section 1, part 2, the second part of the lesson, and this is week 5. Previously, we discussed the civilizations that started emerging during the Bronze Age, and we were discussing the first civilization to emerge, which was Mesopotamia. We talked about the geography of Mesopotamia, the countries that it covered, the location, the government, the city states, and the last topic to talk about was the religion. We said that they were polytheistic, they worshipped many gods, and when they honored their gods, they had certain rituals or activities. And finally, they built these ziggurats to honor their gods. In the early days, the priests of the ziggurat ruled the city states. Later on, the Sumerian kings started claiming that they received power to rule from the gods and they were worthy of ruling. When the Sumerian king started ruling, the rule started to become hereditary, or it meant that the king would pass on the leadership to his son, and the generations to come were from the same family. The social groups in Sumer was divided into levels. Sumerian people were divided into social classes from the time that they were born. The top or the highest part of the hierarchy, the highest level, included the kings, the priests, and the government officials. The second level to come was the middle class. It included merchants, farmers, fishermen, and artisans. Finally, at the bottom of the social group or the social hierarchy were the enslaved people. Men and women, remember, during the agricultural revolution and the Paleolithic age, had different roles. Same thing happened in the Sumerian city states. Men were the head of the household. They were the ones to take decisions about what happened inside the house and what activities to be done inside the house. Women, on the other hand, ran the household. They had servants to help them from the slaves, and they usually gave decisions about what to be done. Boys attended school and they were trained for specific jobs. Girls did not attend school. Sometimes they were allowed in the high classes to take or study things at home, but they had very few civil rights. The major crops in Sumer were wheat, barley, and dates. The dams and waterways they ran through the farmland to water these crops. Sumerians traded for metal and timber. The trading routes linked Sumer to different places such as Turkey, India, and Egypt, which were the rest of the Fertile Crescent civilizations. The earliest system known in writing was developed in Sumer. This system was called cuneiform. A cuneiform was a writing system that was written on clay. The characters were drawings. Remember, we said that they started writing using symbols. These symbols represented names, numbers, and objects. They would get the clay, write or draw the symbols on it, and then they would leave the clay to dry to become a perfectly fit, strong stone, which they later called it a cuneiform. Few people learned how to write and read. Mostly they were boys, and mostly they were from wealthy families. There were scribes. These were people who were official record keepers. They wrote documents and they recorded important aspects of everyday life. Some of these scribes worked as judges to conduct affairs between people, or they also worked as government officials. In terms of technology, Sumerians were the first people to use the wheel. They used it in different tools or advancements. One of them was the carts. They built carts using the wheel that were pulled by donkeys. Carts were used to carry things or people from one place to another. They also made the chariots, which were the same structure as the carts, but this time they were stronger because they were used in war. A chariot is a wooden car that is pulled by a horse this time. For trading by river later on, the Sumerians invented the sailboat. This here is a picture of a cuneiform where they drew their sailboats in the action of trading. The wooden plow, potter wheel, and bronze, which is the combination of copper and tin, were other technological advances. So they had advancements in many fields. The last advancement was in the field of astronomy and math. They invented the 60-minute hour, 60-second minute, and the 360-degree circle. So they invented, or they were the ones who made up, that the hour had 60 minutes, that the minute had 60 seconds, and that the circle is 360 degrees. They also invented a 12-month calendar based on the phases of the moon or the moon cycles. They had planting seasons, and these planting seasons were based on the position of the stars, which they will later use to differentiate between the seasons, and later on it will be developed into the four seasons according to the position of the stars. This was the last or the end of the section, which is chapter 4, section 1. This is the whole lesson covered. Please go back and read the whole lesson. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.